Now set yourself up. Ideally, if you have a mirror here, you can stand sideways to the mirror if you have enough flexibility in your neck to really just turn your head. So you want to see that your shoulders are right on top of the hips. And your hips, of course, right on top of the knees. And the knees right over the ankles. Look a little into what I call posture of the feet. Now, your feet should be pointing straight forward, with the second toes particularly. So they're really right under your hips, pointing forward. Some of you are always turned out like this, and pay attention to what my feet want to do when I do this. They really want to collapse inward. That is called pronation. And if you go to get fitted for proper shoes, they're usually going to say, well, you're pronating so much, you need special support. Now, if you're on your feet a lot, that might make sense, but you can also really just try to bring them forward, ground down a little bit more through the outer side of the foot, and see whether your arches can lift up like that. In most cases, you can really strengthen your own arches if you pay attention to good posture of the feet. Now, if you feel like any restriction or pain around the legs, this might be a little bit of a different problem. Don't pull yourself into it. If it's uncomfortable to stand like this, it is okay to turn out a little bit. So see that you can ground down evenly in a way that feels relaxed. Because in my opinion, good posture really has to be effortless. Now we've built a stable foundation. Now we're building the top of it. Like I said before, check that your shoulders are over your hips. If you can't look in the mirror, ask somebody else to help you, because usually we don't really have the body awareness. A lot of people feel like they have really good posture, but they're actually doing something like this. And that happens very often, particularly with people who are really conscious of it and who have been working on themselves very hard. Of course, you also have the ones who are classically slouching. Sometimes this forward slouch in the shoulders is combined with some kind of slouch in the pelvis as well. So you get all kinds of interesting contortions if you watch people standing around. So just try again, ground down through the feet. And now, just get a little bit of core engagement. Just pull your abs in a little bit. If you usually have a very deep arch in the lumbars, try to just tuck the tail down a little bit. If you're the opposite, that's often some men, where it's really like you're just a straight line here, well, in that case, you might actually want to consider sticking your butt out a bit. Because in normal alignment of the spine, you do have a little bit of a dip in here. That's perfectly normal, and that's actually what the spine needs for proper function. From there, you only imagine the support from the core. Don't try to pull your shoulders back or anything like that. You just pull in your abs a little bit. It's like you want to pull the ribs forward together in here. Focus a little bit more on the front body than on the back, and bring your chest a little bit forward. So this is really just like lifting the breastbone, just this little tad. And that's why initially we wanted to check whether we have enough flexibility between the shoulder blades. Because when you're locked in here and your spine doesn't move here, it's impossible to do this. So we're here, we're lifted up a little bit, and from here, from this elevation, you can just let your shoulders hang. The idea really is that you're draping your shoulder girdle over this stable core so that your shoulders just fall down your back. For some of us, it's a good visualization if you imagine like a fountain coming up and going all the way down. So really try not to pull on your shoulders, but to let them just fall down. It often helps to do a few shoulder shrugs to get more of that feeling that your shoulders are hanging down your back. And if that doesn't quite work out, sometimes when I feel tense, I like to just do one really slow, really big arm circle, the full range of motion. The great thing is this helps me lift the chest up, It brings the shoulder blade back and down. And here I just let the arm hang naturally. And the shoulder blade is exactly where it belongs without me having to pull on the shoulder. So of course we're doing that with the other arm too, but you really only have to do it once. And then you just let them hang down. Now from here, don't force your head anywhere. I showed you in the beginning of this playlist that if you're tucking your chin against a forward bend in your upper back, then you just put a crick in your neck. So all you have to do is really get the natural elevation from your upper back and just let the head float on top of it. So it's really just the idea of letting the shoulders drop down, letting the head naturally flow up. Don't really apply any force. You want to be able to relax into this. So while you're standing here right now, just take a couple of minutes. Just feel your feet again. Take a deep breath. Feel how your hips are feeling. Get this little bit of core engagement, just a little bit of pulling the ribs in, still keeping the chest lifted. Get the sense that your shoulders are easily falling down your back. And imagine that your head is lightly floating, really like a helium balloon. And just stay here. After the video has ended, take another few breaths, take a few minutes, pay attention to your body, and try to relax as much as you're able.